Daniel, as you place the ring...
Stop! Don't do it! I have a secret! A big one! You must hear it now!
Michael? What are you doing?
Michael, please. Today's my happy day. Don't ruin it, please.
If you put that ring on, you will regret it forever. I promise.
Please stay here, sir. Don't move. Daniel's heart banged like a drum in a funeral. The music was still playing loudly outside. People were clapping. Cameras were flashing. The pastor was already smiling, ready to call him forward. But Michael's hand was tight on Daniel's arm, and his face looked like he had just seen something terrible. Michael was shaking. His lips were dry. Sweat rolled down his temple. "Michael, are you mad?" Daniel whispered, trying to laugh. "This is my wedding. Everyone is waiting." Michael leaned closer, his voice low and urgent. "If you take one more step toward that altar, you will regret it for the rest of your life." That sentence hit Daniel harder than a slap. His smile died. His heart skipped. The joy he had been holding all morning suddenly dropped into his stomach like a heavy stone. He looked at Michael again and saw something he had never seen before: pure fear. Outside, the choir sang louder. Inside Daniel's chest, everything went quiet. "Come with me," Michael said quickly. "Please, just trust me." Before Daniel could think too much, Michael pulled him behind the stage, away from the crowd, away from the lights. The sound of the wedding became dull, like it was coming from far away. Daniel's shoes felt heavy. His hands started to sweat. They reached a small door near the back of the hall. Michael stopped. "Whatever you see inside," he said slowly, "remember I did this because I love you like a brother." Daniel swallowed hard. "See what?" Michael did not answer. He pushed the door open, and Daniel's world stopped. Inside the small room, the air felt cold. A chair stood near the wall. A table held a phone and some printed papers. On the screen of the phone was a paused video. Daniel stepped closer. His knees went weak. The woman on the screen was Anita, his bride. She was not wearing her wedding dress. She was laughing, leaning close to another man. A man Daniel knew very well, a man who had attended family meetings, a man who had eaten food in Daniel's house and called him brother. Daniel's mouth went dry, his eyes burned. Michael pressed play. The video was short, but it was enough. Anita's voice was clear. Her laughter was real. The way she touched the man was not friendly. It was not a mistake. It was not an accident. Daniel felt like the room was spinning. "Turn it off," he whispered. Michael turned it off. Daniel stared at the black screen. His hands were shaking so badly he had to hold them together. This is not real," Daniel said. "It can't be." Michael picked up the printed papers and handed them to him. Messages, dates, pictures. "I found them last night. I prayed it was fake. This morning I got the video." Daniel looked at the messages. He read Anita's words, words of love, words of promise, words she had also said to him. His chest tightened. He remembered how Anita smiled at him that morning, how she told him, "Today is our forever," how she kissed his hand and laughed nervously. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "Why?" he whispered. "Why today?" Michael sat down slowly. "Because lies don't care about timing. They show up when they want." Daniel dropped into the chair. His strength left him all at once. His head fell into his hands. Tears slipped through his fingers. Outside, the music stopped. Someone laughed loudly. Someone shouted, "Where is the groom?" Daniel felt trapped between two worlds, one world full of joy and color, another full of truth and pain. I loved her, Daniel said softly. I trusted her. Michael nodded. I know. Daniel lifted his head. Did everyone know? Was I the only fool? No, Michael said firmly. I swear you didn't know because she hid it well. Daniel breathed in slowly. His chest hurt. Outside, whispers began to rise. What is happening? Why is he not coming out? Is everything okay? Daniel stood up suddenly. I can't do this. I can't go out there like nothing happened. Michael stood too. Then don't. But you also don't have to shout or disgrace anyone. Daniel paced the small room. Anger burned inside him. Shame followed close behind. He thought of his parents sitting proudly in the front row. He thought of Anita's parents smiling, telling people, "Our daughter is finally married." He stopped walking. I'm stuck, he said. If I go on, I marry a lie. If I stop, I break many hearts. Michael's voice was calm, but you save your own. Daniel closed his eyes. His mother's voice echoed in his head. A painful truth is better than a sweet lie. He opened his eyes again. Bring her, Daniel said quietly. Michael looked surprised. Here? Yes. Bring Anita here. No crowd, no noise. Michael nodded and left the room. Daniel stood alone. His wedding suit suddenly felt too tight. He loosened his tie and breathed deeply. A moment later, the door opened. Anita stepped in. She was still smiling at first, like nothing was wrong. But when she saw Daniel's face, the smile disappeared. What is going on? She asked, her voice shaking. Why am I here? Daniel did not shout. He did not insult her. He simply held up the phone. Anita froze, her face turned pale. Daniel, He pressed play. The room filled with her own laughter. Anita's legs gave way. She dropped to her knees. I'm sorry, she cried. Please, I was scared. I didn't want to lose you. Daniel's heart broke again, but this time it was quieter, deeper. He asked one question, slow and clear. If you loved me, why didn't you tell me the truth when we still had time? Anita cried harder. She could not answer. Outside, the pastor's voice echoed again. Let us wait for the groom. Daniel looked at the door. He knew the next step would change everything. And as he took a deep breath and moved toward the exit, the sound of the wedding hall rushed back into his ears, along with the fear of what he was about to do next. Daniel stood by the door for a long moment. The noise from the hall was loud now. Chairs scraped, people whispered, someone laughed nervously, someone else called his name. Behind him, Anita was still on her knees crying. Her makeup had run. Her hands shook as she tried to reach his leg. Daniel, please, she said, let me explain. Daniel did not turn back. If he turned back, he knew his heart might weaken. Love does not die fast, but truth does not wait. He opened the door. Light rushed in. The wedding hall went quiet the moment Daniel stepped out. Hundreds of eyes turned toward him. The pastor stopped smiling. The choir went silent. Phones slowly lowered. Even the air felt heavy. Daniel walked forward alone. Anita did not follow him. That alone told everyone something was wrong. Daniel's legs felt like wood, but he kept walking. Each step felt like a drumbeat inside his chest. He reached the front and stopped beside the pastor. His parents stood up at once. His mother's face was tight with worry. His father's eyes searched his. Daniel, his mother whispered, "What is happening?" Daniel picked up the microphone. It felt cold in his hand. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice calm but thin. "Please, give me 1 minute." The hall stayed silent. Daniel looked around. He saw friends. He saw family. He saw people who had traveled far just to be there. He saw joy waiting for him and pain waiting too. "I can't continue with this wedding today," he said. The words fell like stones. Gasps filled the hall. A woman covered her mouth. Someone stood up. Another person whispered loudly, "Jesus." Daniel felt his mother grab his arm. "What do you mean?" she asked, shaking her head. "Daniel, what are you saying?" Before Daniel could answer, movement stirred at the side of the hall. Anita appeared. Her eyes were red, her dress dragged behind her. She ran toward Daniel and fell at his feet. "Please," she cried, "don't do this to me, please." The hall exploded with noise. "Stand up." What is wrong with her? Why is she on the floor? Anita clung to Daniel's leg. "I made a mistake," she sobbed, "but I love you. Please don't shame me like this." Daniel looked down at her. In that moment, many people expected him to shout. Some expected him to slap her away. Some expected drama. He did none of that. He bent down slightly and spoke softly, but clearly. "Stand up," he said. "Please." Anita slowly stood, still crying. Daniel faced the crowd again. "This is not about shame," he said. "It is about truth." Murmurs rose. Anita's mother rushed forward. "Daniel, whatever it is, it can be settled later," she said quickly. "Let the wedding go on." Daniel shook his head. "Marriage cannot start with lies." Anita gasped. Her father stepped forward now, his face red with anger. "Young man, you will explain yourself. What lie?" Daniel's heart pounded. He knew saying too much could turn ugly. He also knew silence would destroy him. "I found out something today," Daniel said slowly. "Something I should have known before now." Anita cried louder. "Please stop." Daniel closed his eyes for a second, then opened them. "I loved you," he said to her. "But you hid something big from me." People whispered again. What did she hide? "Is she pregnant?" "No, it's worse." Michael stood at the back of the hall, his face tight. Daniel met his eyes for a moment and nodded. Michael did not move. Anita shook her head wildly. "He's lying," she cried. "He wants to leave me." Daniel turned to her. "I saw the proof." That word, proof, cut through the noise. Anita froze. Her mother looked at her sharply. "Anita, what proof?" Anita could not answer. The hall fell into a strange silence, the kind that hurts the ears. Daniel took a breath. "I will not say everything here," he said. "I respect our families too much, but this wedding cannot continue today." The pastor cleared his throat. "Let us all calm down." But it was too late. Anita's father shouted, "This is an insult." Daniel's father stepped forward. "Enough," he said firmly. "Let my son speak." Daniel's mother hugged him. Her voice shook. "Are you sure?" Daniel nodded. Tears filled his eyes, but he did not let them fall. "Yes," he said, "I'm sure." Anita screamed suddenly. "You are ruining my life." That cry broke something inside Daniel. "I didn't ruin it," he said quietly. "I trusted you." Anita collapsed into her mother's arms. The hall turned into chaos. Some guests stood up. Some left their seats. Phones came out again. People argued. Some blamed Daniel. Some blamed Anita. Some blamed Michael, though they did not know why. Daniel stepped back from the microphone. His chest hurt. His head felt light. Michael rushed forward and held him by the shoulder. "You did the right thing," he whispered. Daniel nodded slowly. But he did not feel strong. He felt empty. As they turned to leave the altar area, a loud voice cut through the noise. "Daniel!" He stopped. It was Anita's father. "If you walk out now," the man said, "this matter will not end here." Daniel turned slowly. "I am ready for the truth," he said, "whatever comes with it." He walked away. Outside the hall, the sun was bright, too bright. Daniel blinked as the doors closed behind him, shutting out the noise. He breathed in deeply. For the first time that day, he felt the weight of what he had done. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Once, twice, then again. Daniel pulled it out. A message popped up from a number he did not recognize. "You think you know the whole story. You don't. Meet me now or everything gets worse." Daniel stared at the screen. His heart began to race again, and he realized, with a cold fear, that the truth he had seen might only be the beginning. Daniel stood outside the hall, staring at his phone like it might burn his hand. The message was still there. "You think you know the whole story. You don't. Meet me now, or everything gets worse." Michael leaned closer. "Who is that?" "I don't know," Daniel said. His voice sounded far away, like it wasn't his own. "But whoever sent this knows about Anita." Michael frowned. "This day just keeps getting darker." Daniel looked back at the hall. Through the glass doors, he could still see people moving around, arguing, pointing. His parents were trying to calm guests. Anita's family stood in a tight group, angry and confused. Daniel's heart felt tired, but his mind would not rest. "If I ignore this message," he said slowly, "I may never know the full truth." "And if you go?" Michael asked. Daniel swallowed. "Then I face it." Michael nodded. "I'm not leaving you alone." They walked toward the parking area. Daniel's wedding car was still there, decorated with ribbons and flowers. The sight almost made him laugh, but no sound came out. Another message came in. "I'm at the old guest house behind the church. You have 10 minutes. Daniel felt a chill. "That place," Michael said. "Why there?" "Because it's quiet," Daniel replied, "and because whoever this is doesn't want to be seen." They got into Michael's car instead. No ribbons, no celebration, just silence and tension. The drive was short but heavy. Daniel's thoughts raced. Was it the man in the video? Was it someone else? Was Anita hiding more than just one secret? They reached the guest house. It was old and painted cream, with cracks on the walls and weeds near the gate. No cars outside. Michael parked. "Stay close," he said. Daniel nodded. They walked inside. The air smelled dusty. A single light bulb flickered in the hallway. At the far end, a door was open. A man stepped out. Daniel stopped breathing. It was the man from the video. The same man, tall, clean-shaven, wearing a simple shirt and jeans, like this was any normal day. "Daniel," the man said calmly, "thank you for coming." Daniel's hands curled into fists. "You have a lot of courage, standing in front of me." The man sighed. "This is bigger than courage." Michael stepped forward. "Say what you came to say." The man nodded and looked back at Daniel. "My name is Victor." Daniel laughed once, bitterly. "I know who you are. I saw enough." Victor shook his head. "You saw part of it." Daniel's chest tightened. "What else is there?" Victor hesitated, then spoke. "Anita and we didn't just start recently." Daniel felt the ground shift beneath him. "How long?" he asked. Victor looked down. "Before you proposed." Daniel closed his eyes. Michael cursed under his breath. Victor continued quickly. "But that's not even the worst part." Daniel's eyes snapped open. What could be worse than that? Victor reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. His hand shook slightly. "She didn't tell you about the money, did she?" Daniel frowned. "What money?" Victor showed him a bank transfer screen, large amounts, many dates. "She's been taking money from me," Victor said, "for years." Daniel's heart pounded. For what? Victor swallowed. Because she was afraid. Afraid of what? Daniel demanded. Victor looked him straight in the eyes. Because she was pregnant once, and she didn't know who the father was. The room went silent. Daniel felt like he had been punched in the chest. "Say that again," he whispered. Victor's voice was low. "She lost the pregnancy early. She begged me to keep quiet. She said if you ever found out, you would leave." Michael's face turned pale. God. Daniel leaned against the wall. His legs could not hold him any more. "Why are you telling me this now?" Daniel asked. Victor's voice cracked. "Because she called me this morning. She said the wedding was about to start. She said if you married her today, everything would be buried forever." Daniel laughed softly, but there was no joy in it. "So my marriage was going to be a grave." Victor nodded. "I couldn't live with that." Daniel stared at the floor. Every memory replayed in his mind, every smile, every promise, every future plan, all built on fear and lies. Michael broke the silence. "Is that all?" Victor shook his head slowly. "No." Daniel looked up. "What else?" Victor took a deep breath. "There is one more thing she hid. Something that involves your family." Daniel's blood ran cold. "My family?" he asked. Victor nodded. "Yes." Daniel stepped forward, his heart racing. "Say it." Victor opened his mouth, but before he could speak, the door behind them slammed open. Anita stood there. Her eyes were red. Her face was twisted with panic and anger. "Stop!" she screamed. "Don't listen to him." Daniel turned slowly. Anita walked toward them, pointing at Victor. "He's lying. He wants to destroy me." Victor shook his head. "You destroyed this yourself." Anita turned to Daniel, tears streaming. "Daniel, please, he's jealous. He wants you to hate me." Daniel's voice was quiet but sharp. "Then why did you call him this morning?" Anita froze. The silence screamed louder than any shout. Anita fell to her knees again. "I was scared," she cried. "I didn't want to lose you." Daniel's chest burned. "You already did." Anita looked up, desperate. "Please, don't let him say the last thing." Daniel felt his heart beat faster. "What last thing?" he asked. Anita shook her head wildly. "It will ruin everything." Daniel turned to Victor. "Say it," he said. Victor took a breath, and as he began to speak, Daniel realized the truth he was about to hear might be the most painful one yet. Victor did not speak at first. He looked at Anita. She was shaking on the floor, crying, begging with her eyes. "Please," she whispered. "If you say it, my life is over." Daniel felt his chest tighten. "My life was already turned upside down," he said quietly. "Say it." Victor nodded slowly. "Anita didn't just lie to you," he said. "She used you." Anita screamed. "Stop," Victor continued. "2 years ago, your father helped her uncle get a big contract. After that, she came to me and said something terrible." Daniel's ears rang. "What did she say?" Victor swallowed. "She said she had to stay close to you. That marrying you would protect her family." The words hit Daniel like ice water. Michael stepped back. "You mean the relationship was planned?" Victor nodded. "She loved you, yes. But at first, she stayed because of safety and money." Anita cried louder. "That's not true. I grew to love him." Daniel's voice shook. "You grew to love me." Anita crawled closer. "Daniel, please understand. At first I was scared, but later I truly loved you. Everything changed." Daniel laughed softly, brokenly. But you never changed enough to tell me the truth. Anita looked down. Victor spoke again. There's more. The last secret. Daniel closed his eyes for a second. Say it. Victor said it slowly. The man in the video wasn't the only one. There was someone else. Someone connected to your family business. Daniel opened his eyes. Who? Victor looked away. Your cousin. The room exploded inside Daniel's head. No, he whispered. That's a lie. Anita screamed. Don't say his name. Michael's face turned white. Which cousin? Victor said the name. Daniel staggered backward like someone pushed him. That cousin had grown up with him, played football with him, called him brother. Daniel felt sick. You let me plan a wedding, Daniel said slowly, staring at Anita. You let me smile in front of everyone. Knowing this? Anita shook her head, sobbing. I wanted to end it. I tried, but I was afraid. Afraid of what? Daniel shouted for the first time. Of losing everything, Anita cried. My family, my respect, my future. Daniel wiped his face. And what about my future? Silence. Victor stepped back. That's all I know. I didn't want blood on my hands. Daniel stood still. His heart felt empty now, not broken. Empty. Leave, Daniel said to Victor. Victor nodded and walked out. Michael moved closer. Bro. Daniel raised his hand. Give me a minute. Michael stepped aside. Daniel looked down at Anita. You had many chances, he said calmly. Many. Anita grabbed his leg. Please, I will fix everything. I will tell my parents. I will cut everyone off. Just don't walk away. Daniel bent down to her level. His eyes were tired but clear. Love without truth is fear, he said, and fear cannot be my wife. Anita cried out as Daniel stood and walked away. Outside, evening had started to fall. The sky was orange and quiet, like the world did not care about human pain. Daniel's phone rang. It was his father. Daniel, his father said, your cousin is here. He says you asked for him. Daniel stopped walking. I didn't, he said. His father's voice lowered. He looked scared. Daniel closed his eyes. I'm coming, he said. He turned to Michael. This isn't over. As they walked toward the car, Daniel felt something strange. The pain was still there, but now it was mixed with strength, because the next truth would not just hurt hearts, it would shake families. And Daniel knew one thing clearly now: whatever happened next would change everything forever. Daniel did not rush back to the hall. He sat in the car for a moment, breathing slowly, holding his head in his hands. The sky was darker now. Evening had fully arrived. The joy of the morning felt like a dream that never really happened. Michael waited quietly beside him. Are you ready? Michael asked. Daniel nodded. I have to be. They drove back. When Daniel entered the small family meeting room beside the hall, his father stood up immediately. His mother was seated, eyes swollen from crying. And standing near the window was Daniel's cousin. The cousin looked nervous. His hands shook. He could not look Daniel in the eyes. Close the door, Daniel said calmly. Michael closed it. Silence filled the room. Daniel walked forward and stood directly in front of his cousin. He did not shout. He did not raise his voice. That scared everyone more. Tell me the truth, Daniel said. Now. The cousin swallowed hard. He looked at Daniel's father, then at the floor. I never planned for it to go this far, he said quietly. Daniel's heart tightened, but his face stayed calm. So it's true, Daniel said. You were involved with Anita. The cousin nodded slowly. Daniel's mother gasped and covered her mouth. She said it was over. The cousin rushed to say, "She said she chose you. She begged me to stay silent." Daniel felt a deep ache in his chest, but strangely he also felt lighter. "How long?" Daniel asked. "On and off," the cousin replied, "before the engagement, even after." Daniel turned to his father. His father looked broken. "I didn't know," his father said. "I swear." Daniel nodded. He believed him. Daniel looked back at his cousin. "You didn't just betray me," he said. "You betrayed blood." The cousin began to cry. "I'm sorry." Daniel said nothing for a long moment. Then he spoke. "I forgive you." Everyone froze. "But forgiveness does not mean closeness," Daniel continued. "From today, you are no longer part of my life." The cousin nodded, ashamed. Daniel turned to his parents. "I'm done hiding the truth," he said. "Let people say what they want." His mother stood up and hugged him tightly. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. Later that night, Daniel stepped outside alone. The wedding hall was almost empty now. Decorations were being removed. Chairs were stacked. The dream had officially ended. Daniel sat on the steps and stared at the sky. His phone buzzed. A message from Anita. "I ruined everything, I know, but I did love you in my own way." Daniel read it once, then he typed back, "Love that hides truth is not love. I hope you heal. But I'm choosing a new beginning." He put the phone away. Michael came and sat beside him. "You okay?" Michael asked. Daniel nodded slowly. "I lost a wedding," he said, "but I saved my life." Michael smiled sadly. "That's not a small thing." Daniel looked at the empty hall one last time. He felt pain. He felt loss. But he also felt peace, because the lie was gone, and in its place was something stronger: truth, dignity, and hope. Daniel stood up. Tomorrow would be hard. People would talk. But one day he would stand at an altar again, with open eyes, a free heart, and a future built on truth. And as he walked away into the quiet night, Daniel knew this was not the end of his story. It was the moment his real life finally began. If you loved this story, kindly subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that like button, and in the comments, tell us, what lesson did you learn from this story? Turn on notifications so you never miss our stories. Share this video with your friends and family. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next interesting story, bestie.